One thing is clear from Judge Engolan's $355 million fine. The staggering $355 million fine marks the end of the dramatic divorce between the former president and the city that created him. When New York Judge Arthur Engolan ruled on Friday that Donald Trump must pay a $355 million fine and be banned from doing business in the state for 3 years, the former president's impression of the city that made him was already severely tarnished. But this ruling, if upheld, could be the nail in the coffin. The penalties for the Trump Organization's scheme to overvalue its assets and enrich himself while defrauding banks would require the former president to pay huge sums, even as a self-proclaimed billionaire. Including interest on the judgment, the former president will have to pay a total of $450 million. If the government does not seize the property first, he may have to give up his trademark and longtime New York home, Trump Tower. If that happens, the Trump saga, once synonymous with the glittering splendor of New York, will have reached the final act of a saga that has lasted almost a decade. Much of Trump's rise and fall in New York has taken place on the Upper West Side. In the 1980s, Trump launched his vision of building a Trump city along the Hudson River. Trump promised to build retail space and entertainment studios that would house 20,000 people and total over 5 million square feet. At the time, the editorial board of the New York Times wrote that Trump was clearly eager to become a giant builder with a skyline that would be his profile, like the hero of an Ayn Rand novel. Trump City is Trump's challenge to immortality, the paper said. The editorial also said that only time can separate big dreams from pipe dreams. In fact, such big dreams have never materialized. The project failed after decades of legal battles and local opposition. There have always been New Yorkers hostile to Trump, so Trump agreed to a smaller plan to build 6 luxury buildings on Riverside Boulevard. These buildings were adorned with Trump's name from the 2000s until 2016. But that year, before Trump became president, residents revolted. Linda Gottlieb, a resident, told the New York Times in 2016 it's time to declare that we don't want to live in a building named after him, that we don't want to live in a country that has suffered under his presidency. Gottlieb, who pays about $10,000 a month in rent at Trump Place, started a petition to remove the Trump name, which was welcomed by neighboring buildings. The Trump Organization's lawsuit was unsuccessful, and by 2019, all the bold, golden letters that read Trump had been scraped off. The building became recognizable only by its street number. Trump Place was not the only Trump Place where the Trump brand collapsed in December 2017. Trump Soho, the Trump Organization's downtown Manhattan hotel, was renamed the Dominique. Trump's hotel in D.C. had been successful during his presidency, but guests visiting New York were a different crowd. The Trump Soho Hotel Restaurant Koi was forced to close in 2017 due to declining business after the elections. In February 2019, it became even clearer that the hotel's ties to Trump were cancerous when it reported a significant increase in revenue and bookings after Dominique Trump removed her name. In the fall of the same year, as the Woolman Ice Rink in Central Park prepared to reopen for the winter, the Trump Organization quietly removed the then-president's name from its brand. It was a major symbolic blow to Trump's myths of personal success and a sign that even the Trump Organization knew its brand was toxic in the city. During the campaign and in interviews before the 2016 election, Trump often invoked the Woolman connection as a testament to his qualifications to run the country. In the 1980s, he saved the runway when the government couldn't finish construction. As president, he promised to do the same for the whole country. "Watch what I do," he told supporters in Iowa before a party rally in 2016. Remember the Woolman Rink in Central Park? You remember the Woolman Track in Central Park? I completed it in 4 months. The Central Park Carousel, officially called the Michael Freedom Memorial Carousel, was operated by the Trump Organization. Scorned, Trump changed his official residence to Palm Beach, Florida. In 2019, he tweeted about New York City, "Few people have been treated worse," and after the January 6th riots, the city escalated the conflict. Then Mayor Bill de Blasio announced he would cancel all city contracts with Trump, including the city-owned Trump Links and Woolman Links golf courses in the Bronx. A judge declared the move illegal in 2022, but by then the ice rink had found a new operator, and the Trump organization apparently realized it was unnecessary. In 2023, it sold the golf course rights to Bally's Corporation in January. On the final day of a civil fraud trial that barred Trump from doing business in New York City for the next 3 years, Mayor Eric Adams cut the ribbon on the new Barry links. The Trump organization appears to be in an even more marginalized state in New York in the aftermath of the injunction. Trump and his children must be looking to move their business out of state, perhaps to Palm Beach, but they are effectively prohibited from selling, transferring or otherwise disposing of most non-cash assets without notifying the Attorney General, the courts, or an independent court-appointed monitor. The law also prohibits the sale, transfer or other disposition of non-cash assets. The watchdog is also required to be informed at least 30 days in advance of any planned or envisaged restructuring. All is not completely lost. Perhaps the Trump brand can regroup after a period in purgatory. For example, Trump World Tower, Trump International Hotel, Trump Park and Trump Palace. Trump Tower remains its best known and perhaps most cherished property. Having to dispose of it would be the biggest defeat. However, buyers are likely to get a good deal. In November, a 3-bedroom property in Trump Tower sold for $6,125,000. 10 years ago, when new episodes of The Apprentice were still airing and ice skating and golf were available at Trump-branded spots in the 5 boroughs, the same unit was purchased for $16.5 million. That's what we have for you today. What do you think of our video? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe, like and hit that share button.